All right, thanks, guys. Baltimore's at Cincinnati, 8:20 East this Thursday. We've got ourselves a pick'em contest in Paul Brown Stadium. Totals at 44 points. The public money's on the Bengals and the over right now. Since he opened up catching 3 points, now down to a pick'em contest. Total also open 43 up to 44 flat. Now it's going to be a beautiful night in Southwest Ohio. Clear skies and 75 by kickoff, 4-mile-an-hour wind blowing toward the eastern boundary. And if you take a look at the trends, I really think they still tend to favor the Ravens despite the massive public fade. Baltimore's gone 6-2 straight up in their last 8, 5-1 ATS in their last 6 on the road. And although the Bengals looked spectacular against the Colts in week 1, there are still some holes in their defense that concern me. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this matchup here, we once again saw significant movement toward the over in the early betting, and rightfully so. The total's gone over in 9 out of Baltimore's last 13 ball games. The Ravens are also 5-2 to the over in their last 7 away from home. So with all those trends in mind, it is time to make a pick. Give me the Baltimore Ravens winning this one outright in the over 44 in this one. And with that said, welcome to the show. I do have some lines and personal leans out for NFL Week 2. But before we get into that, I just want to quickly remind you to check out my daily best play at patreon.com/BrockPage. And with a documented win percentage of 60% for the entire year of 2017, you're costing yourself valuable information each and every day you're not subscribed. Packages begin at just $1.99 a month. There's also plenty of free content there as well, so once again, please feel free to hit that pause button right now, open up your browser, and just quickly check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage. It'll only take a few seconds. Link is in the description section below. And if you're a current patron of mine and you're watching this program right now, I just can't thank you enough. You make it all worth it. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at our NFL Week 2 slate of NFL games and personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Vikings-Packers, 1 o'clock, Green Bay. The Packers are -1. Where's that at? There it is. The Packers are -1, totals 47. Money's on the Vikings and the over right now. Green Bay open 2.5, now down to just 1 point. Total also open 46.5 up to 47 flat. So if you like the Packers in this one, you may want to hold tight because we could potentially see this one kick off at a pick'em contest, or even see this line flip at some point during the week. And if you like the Vikings in this spot here, I really do think you lost them at their best price, so you may want to make up for it with a money line play instead. But regardless, it should be a really nice day at Lambeau this Sunday. Partly cloudy skies and 77 by kickoff, 9-mile-an-hour wind blowing toward the west boundary. And when it comes to the trends, I really think they favor the Packers in this spot here. They're 9-4 straight up in their last 13 at Lambeau. That includes the Brett Hundley era. Green Bay is also 6-3 ATS in their last 9 at Lambeau, taking on Minnesota. Meanwhile, on the Vikings side of things, they're just 5-12 ATS in their last 17 taking on Green Bay. The Vikes also won just 2 out of their last 9 straight up playing the Packers. Now, total-wise, Minnesota's 4-2 to the under in their last 6. The total's also gone under in 6 out of Minnesota's last 7 when playing Green Bay. So with all those numbers in mind, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Green Bay Packers -1 and the under 47 in this one. Next game, Browns Saints, 1 o'clock, New Orleans. The Saints are 8.5, totals 50. Money's on New Orleans and the over. Cleveland open +7, now +8.5. Total also open 47.5, up to an even 50 points. So if you like New Orleans in this one, you may want to book that action now or just pray for some serious buyback because you already lost your best number at 7. And if you like the Brownies in this one, you may want to hang tight and see if this number can get up to +9. If not, you'll still be at 8 or 8.5, which is still a pretty good number for how tough they played last week. Regardless, though, Cleveland's historically covered the number pretty well in New Orleans over the past couple of seasons. And as a matter of fact, Cleveland is 4-1 straight up in their last 5 against New Orleans. The Browns have also successfully covered the number in 4 out of their last 5 against the Saints as well. Meanwhile, on the New Orleans side, their defense needs some serious work. The Saints have also struggled to cover the number at home as of late, just 2-4 ATS in their last 6 in the Dome. Now, what comes to the total, I really want to fade the public on this one. Cleveland essentially stymied Big Ben in the slop last week. There's also a ton of money on the over right now, and I think that number's only going to continue to climb. I'm being a little superstitious here. I don't want any parts of that massive consensus play. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and purchase the hook and lean Cleveland +9 in the under. 50 total points in this one. Next game, Dolphins-Jets, 1 o'clock, New York. The Dolphins are -1, no total posted as of yet. Public bettors are on the Dolphins right now. This one opened up as a pick'em. Now New York's catching 1 point on the spread. But if you like the Jets in this one, you may want to act now while catching the point. I think after that thorough dismantling of Detroit last night, plus the excellent quarterback play of Sam Darnold, you may see the handle shaded toward the Jets by kickoff this Sunday. And if you're leaning toward Miami, I think you might be able to catch this one at a pick'em or even a flip at some point during the week. Should see some buyback on the Jets at some point during this week. The squares are probably very impressed with New York. But regardless, we're going to have mostly cloudy skies and 74 degrees by kickoff in the Meadowlands. 8-mile-an-hour wind blowing toward the eastern boundary at MetLife. And if you like the Dolphins in this one, I really can't say I blame you. Tannehill looked pretty sharp Sunday. Defense looked fairly well balanced. Kenny Stills had a big game. Miami also plays the Jets historically well on the road. The Dolphins are 7-3 straight up in their last 10 on the road against the Jets. Meanwhile, the Jets, who did look exceptional last night, real fun to watch, I don't think they will be afforded the turnovers that Stafford gifted them last night. I'm also curious as to how we'll see Darnold respond to a little bit different defensive look. But regardless, I think New York beat up on a lackluster Detroit squad, and I think Miami played solid against an overrated Titans team. So with all that said and done, I think we are going to see Miami start out at 2-0 this year. Give me the Miami Dolphins -1. Getting the job done against the number. Next game, Chargers-Bills, 1 o'clock, Buffalo. The Chargers are -6.5. Total's 43. Money's on the Bills and the under right now. Buffalo was catching 7.5, now just 6.5 points against the spread. Total also opened 44.5 down to 43 flat. If you like the Chargers in this one, I think the 6.5 number will probably be your best number. Starting to see a little buyback on Los Angeles at most shops already. And if you like the Bills to cover, you should definitely get them catching a touchdown at some point during the week, whether that means taking the line movement organically or buying the half a point somewhere. You're going to want to at least catch that full 7 if you're going to have action on them. But regardless, should be a beautiful day in upstate New York, partly cloudy and 77 by kickoff, 7-mile-an-hour wind blowing toward the south end zone. And if you break down the trends, I'm really liking this Chargers squad to get the job done here. They're 9-4 ATS in their last 13, 6-2 straight up in their last 8. They dropped their week 1 battle with an excellent Chiefs team. LA's also been pretty good covering on the road, 5-2 ATS in their last 7 away from home. They've also been pretty dominant over Buffalo in recent years, 5-1 straight up in their last 6 taking on the Bills. And as far as Buffalo's concerned, what can I say? It's the quarterback play. Now, don't be mistaken. These guys have a solid nucleus of talent from that playoff team just a short season ago. That said, though, they lack weapons in the skill positions and will be dominated in that area by most teams they face this season. Now, total-wise, significant unders for LA away from home. 5-0 to the under in the Chargers' last 5 games on the road. These two teams typically battle it out in a defensive struggle as well. 4-2 to the under in these teams' last 6 head-to-head matchups in Buffalo, New York. So with all those trends in mind, I'm going to have to lay the points in this one. I'm going to go ahead and buy the hook and take the Los Angeles Chargers -6 and the under 43 in this one. Next game, Panthers, Falcons, 1 o'clock, Atlanta. The Falcons are the 5.5-point favorites in this one. Totals at 44. Money's on Atlanta and the under right now. Carolina open +5, now catching 5.5. If you like the Panthers in this one, pretty good number for you at 5.5. Don't see this one getting past 6, but at least that 5.5 number, you could buy it up. And if you like the Falcons to cover in this one, kind of discouraging seeing them take all that early money. Seemed like a great number to lay in the early going, and your gut reaction had to be that it would only get smaller. But regardless, you may want to book that action now. I do not foresee this number getting any smaller than 5 flat. And having said all that, let's go ahead and get into some of the trends. And speaking of the data, I really think it supports a Falcons lean in this spot here. Atlanta's 4-1 ATS in their last 5 at home. They're also 4-1 straight up in their last 5 in Atlanta as well. The Falcons have also matched up quite nicely against this Carolina organization. 4-1 ATS in their last 5, taking on the Panthers. Meanwhile, on the Carolina side of things, they've struggled on the road recently, dropping 4 of their last 6 away from home, dating back to last season. They've also struggled in Atlanta, Georgia as well. They dropped 8 out of their last 10 in the city of Atlanta. They've also failed to cover the spread in 4 out of their last 5 in the Falcons' home. Now, scoring-wise, these teams historically stay under the total in recent seasons past. The total has gone under in 8 out of Carolina's last 10 games when playing Atlanta. The Panthers are also 4-1 to the under in their last 5 games, playing on the road against the Falcons as well. Meanwhile, when it comes to the Falcons, they've gone 6-1 to the under in their last 7 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So with all those factors in mind, I think I got to lay the points again. I'm going to go ahead and buy the hook and take Atlanta -5 and the under 44 in this one. Next game, Chiefs, Steelers, 1 o'clock, Pittsburgh. The Steelers are the 5.5-point favorites in this one. Totals 53. Big money's on both the Steelers and the over right now. KC open +4.5, now catching 5.5 points. The total also open 49.5, all the way up to 53 even. And if you like the Steelers in this one, you lost your best number, but I wouldn't fret too much. I think we could see some significant buyback on the Chiefs from the public. And if you like KC to cover the points, I think this is a great number for you. I don't see it getting much higher than 6 flat. I would be comfortable at this 5.5 number and buying it up if I were you. And speaking of comfortable, 76 degrees and mostly cloudy in the Steel City this Sunday. 9-mile-an-hour wind blowing toward the eastern boundary expected. And when it comes to the trends, I really think they favor Kansas City in this spot here. KC's gone 5-1 ATS in their last 6 ball games. They're also 5-1 straight up in their last 6 if you're looking forward to making a money line play. Now, KC's been a really good road covering team as of late too. 11-4 ATS in their last 15 away from Arrowhead. Meanwhile, on the other side, this Pittsburgh team just does not cover the number. 1-7 ATS in their last 8. 0-5 ATS in their last 5 at Heinz Field. Now, I hate to tell the public on such ridiculous line movement, but I really do think we'll see some fireworks in Western PA this Sunday. The total's gone over in 7 out of Pittsburgh's last 9. The Steelers are also 6-1 to the over in their last 7 at Heinz Field. Kansas City road games normally tend to go over the total as well. They're 9-3 to the over in their last 12 away from home themselves. So with all those factors in mind, I think I'm going to make an underdog play in this one. I'm going to purchase the hook and take Kansas City +6 in the over 53 in this one. Next game, Colts, Redskins, 1 o'clock, Washington. And these are all out of order. Oh, my goodness. The Redskins are 5.5, totals 45. Money's on Washington and the under right now. Indy open +4.5, now catching 5.5. Total open 47 and a hook, down to 45 flat as well. If you like the skins in this one, this is probably where your number will be. Might see a little Andrew Luck buyback, but I think this at this point, folks are still waiting to see where he's at throwing-wise. And if you are liking Luck in the Colts to cover in this one, I think you're getting your best number here. You might find it at 6 if you shop around, but I think we're already at the number we're going to be at the closing bell But regardless, we should see a pretty nice day in the nation's capital. 77 degrees and mostly cloudy. A little breezy down there in Landover this Sunday. 12-mile-an-hour wind projected toward the south end zone. And if you take a look at the trends, I think they're going to favor the Redskins in this matchup here. 5-2 straight up in their last 7 at home. 5-2 ATS in their last 7 against Indy. The Colts have also really struggled in Landover. Just 1-4 straight up in their last 5 at the Redskins. Indy's also just 3-6 ATS in their last 9 on the road. Now I realize that last trend pertains to a Colts team without Andrew Luck, but these guys, both last year and this year, still have no weapons. Their defense looked terrible last week. Lackluster skill players. This is a Colts team who could potentially struggle once again all year long. Now, total-wise, Colts games tend to go over away from home. 16-7 to the over in their last 23 on the road. These two teams typically go over the total when they clash as well. 8-1 to the over in their last 9 head-to-head matchups. So with all that said and done, I think I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the favorites in this one. I'm also going to buy the hook as well. So all that said and done, give me the Washington Redskins -5 in the over. 45 in this one. Next game, Eagles, Buccaneers, 1 o'clock. Tampa Bay, Philadelphia's -3, totals 44. Money's on the Buccaneers right now, though we haven't seen that reflected in the line movement just yet. But if you like the Birds to get the job done, I really think this line is going to move toward the Buccaneers. Look for the Birds to lay at least 2.5 at some shops during the week. And if you like the Bucs to cover in this one, you're kind of in no man's land right now. You know the Eagles are a great team, but you're just not sure where this line is going to move. That said, though, I don't think we'll see this one get much lower than 2.5 and much higher than 3.5. Betting trends aside, though, should be a beautiful day on the Florida Gulf Coast, 80 degrees and mostly sunny by kickoff, 9-mile-an-hour wind toward the western boundary. And in all actuality, I don't think this one's as tough to pick as people are giving it credit for. The big X factor is obviously the play of Nick Foles. Not spectacular in week 1, but you know exactly what you're going to get with Foles. Game management and minimal mistakes. Now look for Philadelphia to spread it around both on the ground and in the air with their trio of running backs. Also look for Malcolm Jenkins to step up in run defense on the other side of the ball as well. Now Tampa Bay is going to be known for an air attack after week 1, but the X factor will be the run support when they keep it on the ground. The Birds have to shut them down on the ground. They normally do. Now, when it comes to the numbers, this Philly team is 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games, 16-2 straight up in their last 18. They've also been very good on the road in recent seasons. 5-2 ATS last 7 away from home, 6-1 straight up in that very same category. Meanwhile, on the Tampa side of things, they tend to struggle with this Philadelphia organization. Just 2-4 ATS in their last 6 at home versus Philly. Tampa's also dropped 4 of 6 straight up in their last 6 at home as well. Now, total-wise, I can't see Fitzpatrick carving up this Eagles D like he did last week. Furthermore, recent games in Tampa tend to stay under. 5 out of Tampa's last 6 at home stayed under the total. Meanwhile, 4 out of Philly's last 6 stayed under the total as well. So with all those elements in mind, I really like the Birds to get the job done here. I'm going to lean toward the Philadelphia Eagles -3 in the under. 44 points in this one. Next game, Lions, 49ers. That's 4:05 San Francisco. And before we get into the numbers, we got a ton of injuries on both squads. Now, Stafford's banged up a little bit for the Lions. He's probable. Blunt's banged up with a knee injury. He's questionable for Sunday. And Ziggy Ansah is hurt with a shoulder, and he's questionable. And that's only on the Detroit side of things. That aside, though, the Niners are the 5.5-point favorites in this matchup here. Totals at 47 even. Money's on the Niners and the under right now. Now, if you like San Fran in this one, you might as well get those picks in now. I really don't think anyone will be riding with the Lions after that dismal performance against the Jets last night. Stafford was horrible. The run game was non-existent, and the defense was anemic. And if you like the Niners to get the job done against the spread in this one, I wouldn't wait around too long there. I really think this one's going to kick off at 6.5 or 7 points at least. All that in mind, though, we're going to have ourselves an absolutely beautiful day in the Bay Area. Clear skies and 71 by kickoff. 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing toward the north end zone expected. Keep that in mind in your handicapping. And I'll tell you this much, San Fran is nowhere near the caliber of team that people gave them credit for in the preseason. That said, though, they played Minnesota exceptionally tough. I know they lost, but they played them tough, and they still have a really legit shot at winning a few games in that NFC West. Now, trend-wise, the numbers are certainly going to support the Niners. 4-2 ATS last 6, 5-1 straight up, last 6 as well. The Niners have also been dominant over these Detroit Lions in recent years. 9-1 straight up in their last 10 with the Lions. 5-0 straight up with Detroit in their last 5 at home. Meanwhile, on the Lions side of things, they failed to cover 4 out of their last 6 away from home. They're also just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 against the Niners. And worst of all, Detroit's gone just 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 playing on the road at San Francisco. Now, total-wise, I think we'll see some scoring in this one. Detroit 7-3 to the over in their last 10, 4-2 to the over in their last 6 away from home. Meanwhile, San Fran's 5-2 to the over in their last 7 at Levi's Stadium. So with all those numbers in mind, I'm going to have to back the home team in this one. I'm going to go ahead and purchase the hook, buy it down, and take the San Francisco 49ers -5 and the over 47 in this one. Next game, Cardinals, Rams, 4:05 Los Angeles. The Rams are the 13.5-point favorites in this one. Totals 47. Money's on the Rams and the under right now. The Cards open +10, now catching 13.5. Total open 47, but is shaded toward the under in most shops. If you're liking LA to cover here, I still see this number moving upward. Don't wait around or hope for some buyback. Sharps are going to have a real tough time justifying an Arizona play. And if you like the Cards plus the points, you should be able to catch another half a point or so by kickoff. Now, it's going to be a beautiful day in Southern California. Clear skies and 79 by kickoff. 8-mile-an-hour wind toward the south end zone. Now, if you're backing the Cards in this one, you don't have much to hang your hat on. That said, though, Arizona's notoriously had very good success against this Rams ball club. 4-1 ATS in their last 5 at the Rams. The Cards are also 10-3 straight up in their last 13 playing the Rams as well. Now, I understand that's different ball clubs, quarterbacks, and venues, but for some reason, when these NFC West divisional games, when they play each other, they always tend to run a little close. Now, on the Rams side of things, not a great covering team as of late. 2-4 ATS last 6, 4-12 ATS last 16 at home. And as good as these Rams are, they played the lackluster Raiders last night, and they played them competitively for about 3/4 of football. Now, total-wise, don't look for a whole lot of production from this Cardinals squad. They're 4-1 to the under in their last 5, 5-2 to the under in their last 7 away from home. And historically, the total has gone under in 7 out of Arizona's last 10 games when playing on the road against the Rams. So once again, I realize different QBs, different teams and venues, but the trends often run consistent no matter what the X's and the O's may be in these divisional games. Now, on the Rams side of things, believe it or not, they're capable of staying under the total too. Just 2-5 to the over in their last 7 in Los Angeles. So with all those figures in mind, I can't see Arizona winning it, but I can see them keeping it within a few scores. I'm going to buy the hook and take the Arizona Cardinals +14 and the under 47 points in this one. Next game, Raiders, Broncos, 4:25 Denver. The Broncos are -5.5, totals 45. Money's on Denver and the over right now. Oakland open +4.5. They're now catching 5.5. Now, if you like the Raiders in this one, you should be able to catch another half a point or so by kickoff. So you may want to be patient going up to the counter. And if you like the Broncos to cover the spread, I don't think you'll see this one drop anywhere near the opening line. So you better hope for some buyback so you can at least buy it down to an even 5-point lay. Figures aside, though, it's going to be a hot one this Sunday. 88 degrees and clear skies by kickoff. 9-mile-an-hour wind expected toward the east boundary. Now, Oakland really struggled in their home opener. And if you go ahead and take a look at the trends, They really seem to fade this Raider squad. Just 1-5 ATS in their last 6, 0-5 straight up in their last 5. The Raiders have also struggled away from home as of late. 1-6 ATS in their last 7 away from Oakland. They've also dropped 6 out of their last 7 straight up on the road as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of this vastly improved Denver squad, they played awesome last week despite at least 3 critical mistakes by Case Keenum. Fortunately for Denver backers, the trends support your decision. Broncos are 9-4 ATS in their last 13 playing Oakland. Denver's also 5-1 straight up in their last 6 playing at home against Oakland as well. Now, total-wise, the total has gone under in 5 out of Denver's last 6 games when playing Oakland. Meanwhile, the Raiders are 5-0 to the under in their last 5 straight. So with all those variables in mind, it looks like I'm leaning toward the favorites in this one. I'm also going to buy the hook, move it down, and take the Denver Broncos -5 in the under. 45 total points in this one. Next game, Patriots, Jaguars, 425 Jacksonville. The Patriots are -2, totals 45. Money's on New England and the over. Jacksonville open +1, now +2. If you like Jacksonville in this one, I think you'll be able to catch another half a point or so if you shop around. Should be able to find this one at 2.5 at some point in the week. That'll at least give you the ability to buy it up and make it an even 3-point cushion. And if you like the Pats to get the job done in this one, 2 isn't a terrible number in this spot here. As a matter of fact, laying 2 with New England against any team in the NFL is a pretty good position. Although I would still have rather seen you catch it at 1.5, but I think 2 is the best number you will find from here on out. Line movement aside, though, we are going to have ourselves a really hot one in Jacksonville. Keep that in mind for your capping when it comes to hydration and player availability. We're looking at 91 and mostly sunny by kickoff in Jacksonville. 9-mile-an-hour wind toward the south end zone as well. And if you'll take a look at the trends, you got to feel good with New England in this spot here. 11-3 ATS last 14. 14-3 ATS last 17 on the road. 16-1 straight up in their last 17 on the road as well. And here's the kicker. New England's 5-0 straight up in their last 5 contests with Jacksonville. Now, there's no doubt Jacksonville's an incredibly talented squad. Top 3 defense in the entire league. Elite at the running back position. But Leonard Fournette is questionable for Sunday. He's a little banged up. And the Jags are also lacking in the quarterback and wide receiver positions. And as a matter of fact, I don't think they match up well with many teams in the AFC in those 2 positions. Now, total-wise, the Pats tend to get these elite defenses into a bit of a slugfest when they play them. I think we'll see a bunch of money on the under in this matchup because of this Jags defense. But New England has a great way about dragging these elite ball clubs in the shootouts. I can't see this one staying under. So all said and done, I'm going to go ahead and take the New England Patriots -2 and the over 45 in this one. All right, next one. Giants Cowboys, 820 Dallas. The Cowboys are -3.5, totals 42.5. Money's on Dallas and the under right now. New York open +3, now catching 3.5. Total also open 43.5, down to 42 and a hook. If you like the Giants in this one, 3.5 is a pretty good number. Not sure if you'll see it get up to 4, but that 3 to 3.5 number isn't a bad spot for you. And if you like the Cowboys in this one, you may have to shop around to find your best number. I'd rather see you catch it at 2.5 and buy it down. But I'm just not sure you'll be able to find that number anywhere. Hypothetical aside, though, I am tending to lean toward the Giants in this matchup here. They played Jacksonville very tough. They had a chance to win it, and I think their wideouts are superior to those of Dallas. And I think New York's wideouts match up quite well against this very talented Dallas defense. Now, New York's also 6-3 ATS in their last 9 playing in Dallas. Now, when it comes to this Dallas squad, they have struggled to cover the spread this year and last. 3-6 ATS in their last 9. 2-5 ATS in their last 7 at home. They've also really struggled to cover the number against this Giants squad. Just 2-5 covering in their last 7 against New York. Now, total-wise, the Cowboys are 5-0 to the under in their last 5 ball games. They're also 4-1 to the under in their last 5 in Arlington. Meanwhile, same song and dance on the Giants side of things. They are 4-1 to the under in their last 5 away from home. Now, the total has also gone under in 4 of New York's last 5 games playing in Dallas. So with all those trends and numbers in mind, it looks like I'm riding with the dogs in this one. I'm going to go ahead and purchase the hook, buy it up, and take the New York Giants +4 and the under 42.5 in this one. All right, next and final game for the show. It is going to be Seahawks-Bears, 8:15 Chicago. The Bears are the 3.5-point favorites in this one. Total's 43. Money's on Chicago in the under right now. Seattle open +2.5, now catching 3.5. Total open 43, but is shaded toward the under at most shops now. And if you like the Seahawks in this one, I think this one will close out at 4. Look to catch another half a point somewhere during the week. And if you like the Bears in this one, just keep in mind that they historically do not cover well when laying the points. Speculation aside, though, we're going to have ourselves a beautiful night in Chicago for some football. Clear skies and 72 by kickoff Monday night. 7-mile-an-hour wind blowing toward the north end zone. And if you like the Bears to get the job done, just keep in mind that they've dropped 8 out of their last 10 straight up and just 1-4 ATS in their last 5 playing Seattle. In addition to that, the Seahawks have won 4 out of their last 5 straight up with the Bears. They're also 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games in Chicago. Now, total-wise, you're probably going to see a lot of square money moving this line downward. Just keep in mind that 4 out of Seattle's last 5 did get over the total. The total has also gone over in 8 out of Seattle's last 9 games with Chicago. The Bears are also 5-0 to the over in their last 5 at Soldier Field, taking on the Seahawks. So with all those trends in mind, I got to ride with Seattle plus the points. I'm also going to go ahead and buy the hook, move it up, and take the Seattle Seahawks +4 in the over. 43 points in this one. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me. But before I get out of here, I just have to remind you to check out my daily best play at patreon.com/BrockPage. And with a documented win percentage of 60% for the entire year of 2017, you're costing yourself valuable information each and every day you're not subscribed. Packages begin at just $1.99 a month. There's also plenty of free content there as well. So once again, please feel free to hit that pause button right now, open up your browser, and just quickly check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage. It'll only take you a few seconds. Link is in the description section below. And if you're a current patron of mine and you're watching this program right now, I just can't thank you enough. You make it all worth it. And as always, thank you for watching today's program. I hope you enjoyed all this great free information. And please don't forget to check out my daily best play at patreon.com/BrockPage.